Joining us now, Fox News contributor, drone expert, Army Special Operations veteran, and Power Us founder, Brett Velicovich. Brett, great to see you. And I think it's a fitting farewell for Senator Lindsey Graham that he was visiting a drone facility, I believe, last Friday in Ukraine. But what Ukraine has done in terms of developing, it is a full-blown industry of drone development and manufacturing. But this has happened over months while we are fighting Iran. They have destroyed Russia's refining to the point that Russia had to stop exporting diesel last week.
Yeah, exactly. And Ukraine is attacking Russia's wallet, not just its military. And they should have started it a long time ago. We are seeing the Russians literally fighting each other at the gas pump as a result. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have is that these refinery strikes are simply about destroying fuel. They're much bigger than that. It's to rally Putin's inner circle against him. And Ukraine is conducting an economic campaign designed to increase the cost of war for Russians at home. Refineries are incredibly expensive. They're time-consuming to repair. They're critical to producing diesel, aviation fuel, and other petroleum products that keep both the military and the economy running. And even when a refinery isn't completely destroyed, repeated attacks force Russia to divert their resources to repair, to strengthen security, to reposition air defenses. And so the goal from Ukraine isn't necessarily to eliminate Russia's refining capability overnight. It's to force Moscow to continuously spending money defending and rebuilding instead of investing those resources elsewhere. And every single military planner in the world should be studying these operations because they demonstrate that distance alone is no longer a defense. For decades, militaries assumed strategic infrastructure was sort of off limits because it was located hundreds of miles away from the front lines and relatively secure. And I think Ukraine has shattered that assumption because a drone costing tens of thousands of dollars or even less in some cases can threaten facilities worth billions.
Brett, is Ukraine the best in the world at drone warfare? And even if they're not the best, but they're near the top, how does that change the global balance of power? I'm just curious, at some point, if a country gets really good at the cutting edge of war, how do we respond to that? I know we're working with them potentially on Patriots and drones, but this seems like a game changer that's just bigger than the Russia and Ukraine war right now.
Ukraine has changed everything. I've been in those manufacturing plants where they're producing hundreds of these drones, in some cases tens of thousands of the smaller ones per month. And we are still very behind as Americans, frankly. We shouldn't look at this as someone else's problem. The biggest mistake the United States can make is treating Ukraine as a unique case. They have completely revolutionized the economics of warfare. If our government continues acquiring capabilities on these 5 or 10-year timelines, they're always going to be chasing the last war instead of preparing for the next one, which is going to be a proper drone war. Our adversaries, they're watching these same videos that we're seeing. They're drawing the same conclusions. America has an enormous amount of critical infrastructure. We've got our own oil refineries, export terminals, chemical plants. They all need to be protected, especially when it comes to future conflicts. And we've traditionally focused on protecting them from missiles and aircraft or sabotage. But drones are a completely different problem. They're cheaper. They're more numerous. They're harder to detect. They're easier to replace. And the lessons coming out of the Ukraine war should be driving urgent investment in protecting infrastructure here at home, and then also industrializing our new defense base, which is going to have to produce tens of thousands of drones per month, like some of these facilities are overseas right now.
It's just breathtaking to see what they've been able to do.
Yep.
And Brett, great perspective. From an offensive and defensive perspective, we have a way to go. Thank you, Brett Velicovich. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.